companies in the blockchain world that are seeking to become leaders in the blockchain gaming space, but few have been as persistent and focused as Animoca Brands. Yatsu's company is absolutely exploding with acquisition and creations of their own, coming at a breakneck pace. Today, we're pleased to welcome Robbie Young, the CEO of Animoca, to join us for an exciting conversation around the future of blockchain games. Then, we bring you a great story of a young man who's become a multimillionaire by banking on Animoca. Hey, you roll your dice, you move your mice, nobody gets hurt. At least, we hope that's the way it works out. On this episode number 523 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Because you must be crypto curious, or maybe you're even crypto serious. Maybe you're a crypto clown. Maybe you're all of that. Welcome to the Bad Crypto Podcast. This show's a good one today, folks. We have already interviewed both of these folks today, and these are, you're going to enjoy listening to this. Your mind's going to be blown a bit, but before that, we got any task Joel wants to tell you about.
Oh, you just said my name for the first time. I'm like, I threw it to you. I said, that's Travis Wright. And do you say, and that's Joel Comm? No.
I mean, you saying I'm Joel Comm and that's Travis Wright. I didn't hear that you didn't say I'm Joel.
Hey, you guys could just guess who I am. Like, I'm the other guy. Actually, it's Joel and the other guy, but that's... AnyTask, the freelance marketplace, the only place that allows freelancers to sell digital tasks and earn cryptocurrency, ETN. That means you don't need a bank account, /AnyTask. And now we should be totally transparent here because we have before about Animoca. We are advisors with Animoca, and delightfully so, because these guys blow us away. We've had Yatsu on the show before, and today we've got Robbie Young. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this because this is what we believe is the future of blockchain gaming. We have frequently referenced a company on the show that we've had the pleasure to work with multiple times and actually work in an advisory capacity with them. And I think out of all of the companies we've had the pleasure to work with, none of them is doing more unique things, especially in the blockchain gaming space. And that company is Animoca Brands. And Travis, I think when we reference Animoca, we have said multiple times that it seems like everything Yatsu and Animoca touch turns to gold.
It does. It's like you guys got the Midas touch over there. And so today we have with us the CEO, Robbie Young. How are you doing over there, good sir?
Good. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You know, Animoca is leading the way in so many ways, and that, you know, you've got a background in media and in tech and in publishing. It seems like everything you've done has really come together to be able to lead this brand forward. And we're gonna talk a little bit about the different brands that you're working with, but I want to first talk about the overall vision, because it seems to Travis and myself that there's two ways to onboard masses into crypto and blockchain, and that is through gaming and NFTs. And that's something that Animoca is doing both. And so, you know, what is the overall vision of how do you onboard, you know, the world, billions of people?
Sure. I think from our perspective, like when we first got into this business, you know, we came from a game development background. We were doing free-to-play mobile games for years, and we've been partnering with brands for years. So we've always worked as a licensee of lots of famous IPs, and it was a skill that we felt really translated into what we started doing in blockchain games. When we started working with the folks at what's now called Dapper on publishing CryptoKitties back in the beginning of 2018, that was kind of our gateway drug into blockchain gaming, because that's how we got hooked. And I think what we realized very quickly was we saw an amazing opportunity to basically connect with not only existing crypto communities, but also the world of gaming that we came from. Because one of the things that we felt was really missing in the crypto community was, you know, in crypto parlance, utility. because there were so many tokens out there. This was, just on the back of 2017 when there were lots of ICOs, and we felt there was a huge opportunity to try to bring more utility into the crypto world through gaming, because one thing is a universal, which is that everybody loves to play games. And I think that gaming often gets overlooked in the sort of mainstream, consciousness, because people always think about films and music and TV, but actually the game industry, by any measure, number of players, revenues, etc., is far bigger than all of those combined, honestly. So I think that's one thing. When you think about, this may not have been true 15 years ago, but post-mobile smartphones, gaming is by far the biggest entertainment medium on earth.
Yeah, you're able to pick up your phone and play a quick couple-minute game, and then you be on your way, right? So you don't have to dive in and spend hours on a game. You can just, hey, I got a couple minutes here, I'm going to go bust out a game. I want to actually let people know the depth of what Animoca is doing. This is from your LinkedIn, and you talk about some of the different things you guys are doing with the Formula, with the Formula One partnership that you guys have, and the project there. You guys have worked with, so you guys, F1 Delta Time is one of the projects that you're working with. Actually, you guys are building, you guys have the Rev token with that. You have the Sand token because you guys are behind the Sandbox, which is huge. It's a huge metaverse area. Crazy Kings, the Crazy Defense Heroes. You guys are also working with brands like Marvel and WWE, Garfield, Snoopy, Power Rangers. Like, this is unreal. And you guys have not only worked and partnered with Dapper Labs, but you guys also work with Wax and Decentraland. You guys have also acquired Quid, which is you think about it, they're the ones that in a lot of ways helped develop digital collectibles when they were over there at Topps. That team moved over and created Quid, and also we've had the CEO of Gamey on the podcast as well. You guys have your hands in a whole lot of stuff, and I think you guys, so maybe go back to the origins of this.
Sure.
It seemed like you guys were like a dev house, and you guys were just building different games along the way. You got a bunch of great designers, and then how did blockchain come along? You said, oh, CryptoKitties is doing some blockchain stuff, and maybe kind of go into that era a little bit, because I think it's fascinating.
So what happened was that actually we were working with a great company in Vancouver back in 2017, and we were in the process of acquiring the business. And as we acquired them, one of the principals of that business, also by coincidence, was one of the co-founders of Axiom Zen, which later became Dapper Labs.
That was the name. I kept trying to figure out what the hell's that name of it before, because we interacted with Axiom Zen before they became Dapper Labs. And yeah, I remember that. Exactly.
And so it was, like many things in life, it was just coincidence that we got introduced at the time, and we started talking about what they were doing with CryptoKitties, and it piqued our interest because obviously mobile gaming, particularly in casual gaming, had started to plateau a little bit in terms of user growth, and we were looking for new areas of growth, and we thought this was really exciting. Let's see what it is. So we decided to partner with them to be the publisher of CryptoKitties in Greater China, and honestly, it took us about 3 months to decide to just devote all our energy, biz dev energy, on just developing things where we could integrate tokenization, let me put it that way, into games. Because I think there's a role for both fungible tokens as well as NFTs in games. And the reason that this made so much sense to us was because gamers have been using virtual currency to buy virtual items for decades. Well, not decades, more than a decade, right? Since World of Warcraft and all those massive MMOs, and then through the mobile era. So there are over 1 billion people virtual currency to buy virtual items in game economies. And if you just replace those with ERC20 tokens and NFTs, they would still be doing exactly the same thing, but getting much more benefit as players because they would really own stuff, as opposed to just existing in a rental economy, which is what most games today are. So for us, we thought this makes so much sense because we actually don't have to train consumers to do anything new. They just keep doing what they're doing, but we're going to make life much richer and more fulfilling for them as players. So that's kind of the original seed of the idea.
one of the things I really like is that as you're acquiring these companies such as Quid and Gamey, you're looking at them and going, okay, these have their own in-game type of currency, but how do we blockchainify this and take it to the next level? And one of the things that you're doing with the Quid app now is mintables, right? Because you've had over 7 million users in Quid. We had Michael Bramblage from Quid on the show previously, and he gave us the amazing numbers. And you've got all these people that are collecting all this cool stuff from these major IPs, right? I mean, we've got so many different IPs in there that are just globally known, but people haven't been able to take those and put them on blockchain. But that's getting ready to change. And one of the first set of mintables is actually from the Blockchain Heroes brand, because we partnered with Quid to release those, and we're killing it in there. So thanks to Quid and Animoca for that.
Great.
And I noticed here that another Animoca brand is now entered the Quid ecosystem. And for those of you watching the video, it's the Rare Towers from this tower defense game, Crazy Defense Heroes. And so I see this integration taking place. Are we going to see, F1 Delta Time stuff show up in Quid? Are we going to see them, characters, race car drivers showing up in Sandbox? Is this one big metaverse?
So I think the idea is really that when we work with brand partners, also we want to try to give them the benefit of distribution and access, and we want players to have a very rich ecosystem. So I think it works from both sides. So when we work with, a brand to create a blockchain game, we also, when we're creating collectibles in that game, because you have game characters that are NFTs that people can collect, it's great for the people who buy those NFTs to be able to use them in multiple locations or have access to different NFT versions of them. So they can have a playable character, they can have a playable character that they can bring into the sandbox, which then is in a voxel art style of the same playable character. And they can also have a tradable or collectible card. In Quid, for example, a 3D card that also represents the same NFT from a different environment. Because we want to try to create as much richness to the experience of the players and owners as possible.
That's nice. I actually just opened up a pack of those, the Rare Tower ones, and got one of each one of them. That's nice. You guys have, I love the lower mint ones where there's only like 2,000 of them being minted. Like with Blockchain Heroes, when we did those over there, they 500,000 of them, right? And so, and then so people were going in there and downloading. And what's fun is you create this gamification within that particular app. That if you collect this in X amount of time, that gives you the ability to snag, this additional thing. Like here's the enchanted mintable. So the creative team over there is phenomenal at Quid. Now, are they also? Is that from that design studio that you guys had originally built, or is that with one of their existing assets that they've already have?
So I think they already have had those resources to create those things, and as you've seen probably on Quid, we've also started to do fully 3D collectibles as well, and I think that's an exciting part of the experience. But the most important thing is they really understand what collectors enjoy about collecting. And so it's about creating, as you said, big editions at low prices, small editions at more, high-end collectible prices, understanding how to organize sets so that people can have a little bit of a challenge to collect a full set and try to complete sets. And I think that's what makes the collecting ecosystem really vibrant. And prior to bringing it on the web, Quid began as a pure mobile app. And so for the last 4 years, it's been the biggest collectible marketplace, but restricted into an app environment.
The ability to unlock those assets and blockchainify those, as Joel said, to me, that was a no-brainer. When I was like, wait a second, Animoca just acquired Quid? And then we didn't chat with Yacht or anybody. I was just like, wait a second, Animoca just acquired Quid? So that tells me they're going to unlock those assets, I bet, sometimes. So I went in and started buying some of those Panini cards. I was like, wait a second, if NBA Top Shot is going for, some of these cards are going for several $100,000, in some cases, a couple, $200,000, $300,000. I was like, man, low mint Kobe over here. This could be valuable.
As Michael probably said to you, those NBA cards on Quid are the only digital collectible NBA cards that you can sell for cash today that exist in the world.
That's really interesting because on Top Shot, it doesn't. Are you seeing them in a different category, or because
They're
people
not
think
cards.
They're not cards. So right now they're moments. So it's kind of a different medium, and people are trading within the ecosystem. So it's slightly different because it's all on flow at the moment. Whereas with Quid, as you guys know, it's cash in and cash out at the moment because it's a pure cash marketplace.
I also like how the team is open and receptive and listens, because Blockchain Heroes are minted on wax. And
Yes.
So for those who are getting the mintable ones, we talked to Michael last week offline, and he agrees that would be the best way to take the mintable version so that people can bring them into the Blockchain Heroes collection on wax. And so I love that you guys, are paying attention and really listening to the community to see what direction, you go. So,
and also we're changing the market once, and whatever makes sense for a particular game or collectible product that we're creating. So we work with Wax, we work with Flow, we work with Polygon, we work with everybody.
I think is going to really pay off in the long run, because if you see things going the way we see things going, is eventually they're all going to be able to come together, and you're going to have all this cross-chain interoperability and move an NFT from Ethereum to Wax, and from Wax to Polygon, and whatever ecosystem it provides utility.
Totally agree.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. So I want to point out here. I'm actually on your website. And I actually remember this. This happened a couple of weeks ago, where you guys got the magic number of, according to I guess the Chinese luckiness. You guys got $88,888,888 in funding, creating a total valuation of $1 billion over there. So congratulations on that, and what should we know about that? Because that's a big raise over there.
Yes, that was, as you said, that was 8 eights, and if you didn't know, 8 is of course a very lucky number in Chinese culture, Asian culture. And as one article reported it, we raised almost 89 million. Because I don't think they got the new one.
I saw those 8s and I was like, oh, there you go. I got throwing a little superstition in there.
We are, and in fact, we minted it as a moment for all the participants in the round, because it's part of NFT culture. But I think what we're really excited about is, obviously, it's a massive fundraise for us. We're really pleased about it. It gives us a lot of runway to do really great stuff. But I think the big part of it is that we were able to bring in a lot of great partners who come from traditional finance and are not specifically blockchain or crypto funds, people who are still relatively new to the space. So that includes Kingsway, Rothschilds, Ellerston, people who are not, your typical crypto investors. And I think that is fantastic, because it shows, I think, that our small part of this industry is going a little bit more mainstream and starting to attract attention outside of our usual bubble, and I think that's a real good sort of harbinger for the industry.
So I'm curious about this. You've got the Rev token, which is used in F1 Delta Time. You've got the Sand token that's used in Sandbox. You have the Gamey token for Gamey. Is there a future where this becomes one token to rule them all?
So I think the idea here is that we see tokens and blockchains as being very cultural, just like games are. Some people like to play tower defense games, some people like first-person shooter games, other people like puzzle games. There's something for every taste. And I think what you'll find is that people who are on Wax or on Ethereum or on different blockchains, there are actually communities with their own culture and their own flavor. And so we're trying to replicate that in how we create tokens, because we see also these tokens as being a bit of a store of culture, because a the Rev token is about motorsports, for example. And the idea is that holders of Rev have lots of opportunities to use them for things that are related to their passion, which is motorsports. So you can use it in F1 Delta Time, you can use it in MotoGP Ignition, you can use it to buy undone watches, you can use it to buy crypto motors, and we're adding more and more partners within the motorsports and motorsports adjacent field, so that Rev really has a lot of capabilities surrounding motorsports. And then we're doing the same with each of the other tokens. At the same time, obviously we are a group, we have a lot of companies, subsidiaries, so we want to encourage them to work together. So we do create events. So you can, do staking and add liquidity to pools that involve Rev and Gamey together, for example, because we want to encourage people in our Rev community to go check out what's going on in the Gamey
projects that are going on as well in this ecosystem. Mm-hmm. What are some of the coolest use cases so far that you've seen for NFTs in gaming?
Was it programmed to stop before it took my head off?
We can be partners with the big triangle of life.
Yes, but 6.